Welcome to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee Leonard, president of Mainstay Financial Group, right on the corner of Cervantes and Perry. Want to invite you back this month because, we've been talking about Medicare, the choices of Medicare, the confusion of Medicare that did not used to be there way back when I first started my career. And we want to just continue to educate you on your choices, some mistakes to avoid, because we're still in that open enrollment period. So I'd like to invite back today Dr. Joan Connell, my business partner, who is the Medicare specialist in our office. As I told Joan, when I first started my career, she was still out at Pensacola State College in the nursing department. And back then, when I had first started, I would go out with one little sheet of paper, and it had plan A, B, C, and we'd talk about what best served the client, and they'd say, oh, I like this one. And then I would go find the company that gave them the best premium for that particular plan. Well, as they say in the song, gone are the days, my friend.
That's right.
It's become a very complicated type of situation, which is why we decided in our firm that Joan would be our Medicare specialist, because you actually need someone who knows this inside and out. Now, one of the things I'd like to bring up, Joan, we had talked last month about the fact that we did not yet know if there was going to be a Social Security cost of living, which of course can affect the Medicare premium. Well, now we know.
Right.
The real truth. So could you tell us what's going on there?
Sure, Annalee. The Social Security told us, I think back in the middle of October, I think it was on October 15th, that we were getting, what is it, a 0.3%?
0.3. Don't anybody get excited. We are not saying 3%.
Right.
0.3. Big difference.
0.3% of a Social Security cost of living adjustment. And what that means for those of us on Medicare is if you are currently on Medicare and paying your Part B premium, we're going to, by law, they really can't increase our premiums more than the cost of living increase for Social Security. That's called hold harmless.
Hold harmless.
Yeah. So those of us already on who are paying Part B premiums, the 104.90 or the 121.80, whatever you're paying this year, probably going to have a small amount of increase.
Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. God bless you. You okay now?
No, it's never just one. Sorry about that.
All right, we stopped. We stopped this right now.
Good. Sorry. It's never just
It's
one.
not live. You're good.
It's always
That's right.
2
That's
to
right.
3.
That's true. Yeah, right.
Okay, I think we're good.
You think
I'm
we're
not
good?
going to promise, but I think we're good.
Well, worst case scenario, we just stop and go back.
Okay. Where
Okay.
do they want us to start from?
Where do you guys want to start from? Were you asking a question?
About
What were you discussing?
We had said not 3%, 0.3,
right.
and you were going back about how the hold harmless. That's where we stopped before I sneezed.
Why don't we just start with that question
we can
again?
pick up with Joan if that's all right.
Oh, okay. Sure. That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
So just pick up.
Yeah. Well, Annalee, yeah, you're right. We didn't know until probably mid-October what the cost of living increase was, or the cost of living adjustment for Social Security. So what that means for those of us on Medicare is those of us who are on Social Security and paying our Medicare Part B premium, we're in a group called Hold Harmless, and that means that our premiums in most cases don't rise more than the cost of living adjustment.
Okay.
So 0.3% maybe is what we'll be looking at.
But we don't know that for sure. It may not go up at all.
Right, we still haven't heard
Okay.
what everything is going to be for Medicare for 2017. But we do know for sure that the people who are not on Social Security and are going on Medicare, they're going to pay, and possibly earning more than a certain level of adjusted gross income, those people they'll be paying more premium. Most people will be paying
because
more
they're just
premium.
coming in.
Right. Yeah,
so
so
it's the people already in, or as we say, grandfathered. The
that's a good
people
way.
just coming in are going to have whatever the set premium is at that point.
And that's going to affect about 30% of Medicare eligible people.
Okay. And I think it's important that people understand, and they can certainly call us, come in the office, we'll talk to them about it, but levels of income determine what your Part B premium will be. And there are different levels for single and married, and you have to know those levels, especially if you're thinking about doing something like a Roth conversion. You're going to convert a traditional over to a Roth. That counts as earned income for those 2 years. And if I'm correct, they look back 2 years.
Yes, they always look back at your IRS returns from 2 years prior to determine your Medicare level of premium for 2 years in the future. Yes.
And this is another place where people have to be very, very careful if they're widowed, if they become a widow or a widower, and the income level stays the same, because the levels are different for single and married.
Correct.
You may wind up having a premium that goes up on you. So it's good to keep those things in your mind and know what happens. So let's talk about, I'm glad we cleared that up, because we kind of left that hanging last month because we didn't know.
Yeah, we did leave that hanging the last time. But the other thing I want to make a point about to all of our viewers out there is the fact that Medicare and all healthcare expenses in retirement are part of that total financial plan that you talk to people about, because it can't be viewed just in isolation. And I emphasize that all the time in my Medicare Made Easy classes at the colleges. So yeah, I just want to make that extra point.
And I think that's a good point that you bring up, Joan. It's anything that you do is part of the total financial plan when it has a direct effect of what's going on. And I think that's where people need to be very careful. You know, are they truly working with an advisor, or are they working with a salesperson? There's a big difference in between those.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit, if we can, about some of the other mistakes we want everybody to avoid, because some of these mistakes, once you make them, it's like, oop, too bad. Some you can go back and undo them, but a lot of them you're pretty well stuck.
Right.
So what are some mistakes we need to avoid?
Well, I would say that one of the things that I see happening is people either sign up too early or too late for Medicare. And what I mean by too early, if they're working, they might not have to sign up for Medicare Part B and pay a premium. So you need to talk to your plan administrator and find out whether that's something you should be doing. Because why should you pay a monthly premium for something that's already being covered through your employer group plan? The other thing, the other mistake I see is people signing up too late. And we had a couple last year who found themselves in this situation.
I remember when they came in.
That's right.
Yes.
And they went to one of my seminars, and they're sitting there saying, wow, everybody in this room seems to know that, yeah, they signed up for Medicare, and they were 77 and 78. I'm sorry, 67 and 68, not 70, 67, 68. And neither of them had signed up for Medicare.
Wow.
And they had their own business. It was an own home-based business. And 65 came and went, and no one ever talked to them about signing up for Medicare. So consequently, they had to go down to Social Security, and actually they had to appeal the fact that if they were 3 years past sign up, they were going to have a pretty hefty penalty. And we can help people figure what that is, you know, give them the idea of what that would be. But they went to Social Security, and believe it or not, Social Security was pretty understanding for them.
That's amazing.
Which is,
that
they had a fairly good experience. It doesn't always happen that way, though. So it's very important to sign up on time for Medicare. Don't miss that time frame at 65, and that's where people get confused, Annalee, because full retirement age, people are waiting for full retirement age for Social Security, which is now, for most people, 66.
66, X number of months now. That's later for the younger groups. But yeah, I was going to bring that up. Don't get Social Security and Medicare, don't get the two confused, because you can be on Medicare and not be collecting your Social Security.
That's correct.
The two don't go hand in hand.
That's right.
It's just that we got into that genre everybody was going to retire at 65, 66, and therefore that meant that, oh, I got to go get on Medicare, I got to do this, I got to do that. Well, there are many, many people now working well beyond age 65.
Absolutely.
Not because they have to, but because they want to, or they have professions that they love, they enjoy doing them, they keep going. So you don't get those two confused.
Correct. That's correct. So that's very important. That's probably, to me, one of the single most important things that people have to remember to do.
Yeah.
And especially if, like you said, they're not getting Social Security, they have to sign up themselves.
Yes.
They have to sign up themselves. If you're getting Social Security, you get your Medicare card automatically. Right. So anyway.
And that I think all goes back to dealing with a professional, working with a professional who not only specializes in Medicare, but has the financial aspect on this
Right.
side, so that you can pull those things together and make the decision, should I go on Social Security at 66, which is considered full retirement age? Should I postpone that a couple of years? If you take it too early, as a lot of you know, you have to pay some money back. That's not a good deal. So you have to know all of the parameters that are around there. And that's part of your financial planning too, is to plan for that premium.
That's correct. That's correct, because believe it or not, just yesterday I have a lady in my office, and her adjusted gross income, because of some events that took place in 2015, in 2017, she found out she is going to be at the very top tier for her Medicare premium. And she was blown away when she found out about it, but it's the way it is. Now, of course, it'll be for 1 year, and then if her income drops in 2016, then in 2018 she'll pay what everybody else pays.
She goes back
Yeah, so
down.
it's a temporary thing.
Which again goes back to that whole thing of it being all part of your financial plan.
Exactly.
Someone should have let her know that if XYZ occurs, you know, you're very close to your Medicare age, your premium is going to be affected in a couple of years. That could have been changed if maybe she had done half of the transaction in November, December, half the transaction
Yeah.
January, February.
Who knows?
It could have definitely affected. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to go more into some of the other mistakes we want to avoid.
And how we can avoid them.
Good. Be right back.
Slice, peel, grind, and grill. Everything the gourmet cook could want is at So Gourmet. Decorate, dine, and get an elegant wine. From preparation to presentation, all the tools you need are at So Gourmet. So Gourmet Pensacola is the largest and most complete kitchen restore on the Gulf Coast. Located above Bodacious Olive on the corner of Palafox and Maine. Sparkle, spice, and everything nice at your kitchen store. So Gourmet Pensacola.
Mainstay Financial Group offers advocacy and personal financial guidance in a caring environment. That's the heart of our practice. At Mainstay, we're dedicated to exemplary service and a caring relationship with our client, not with a number. Plan for the future now with Mainstay Financial Services.
When you're finished with your food or beverage cartons, toss it in the recycling bin. Because every carton is recyclable and can be turned into useful paper products. Put your carton in the bin with your other recyclables and let them start a new life. When the contents are gone, let the carton live on. Recycle your cartons.
Welcome back to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee Leonard, president of Mainstay Financial Group on the corner of Cervantes and Perry. And today, Dr. Connell and I are continuing our conversation on the whole thing about Medicare, Medicare supplements, mistakes that you want to avoid, because some of those mistakes can cost you a lot of money. Some cannot be undone. Some can be undone, but you got to wait a whole year to do them. So let's kind of go, Joan, and I know the terms fly around a lot. You turn on the TV and you hear, oh, this is the best plan in the world, and now this is the best plan in the world. And so let's get down to the fact of one very clear distinction that needs to be made: the difference between a Medicare supplement and what is called a Medicare Advantage policy.
Okay, good. Well, Medicare supplements are policies that are issued by private insurance companies, and they're designed to work with the red, white, and blue Medicare card, because when you have that card, there are deductibles and co-insurance amounts that you have to pay that Medicare doesn't pay in full.
Kind of like regular insurance.
Yes, it's exactly.
Yeah.
And a Medicare supplement, otherwise known as Medigap, that's another term people use, picks up some or all of those costs out of pocket, depending on what plan you choose.
Okay.
So, and people need help with that. That's why they come to see me, and then they decide what plan they would like, okay? The other option is a Medicare Advantage plan. And Medicare Advantage plans are what we call managed care plans,
Okay.
where private companies actually enroll people into their plan. The person doesn't use their red, white, and blue card, and then they have to live by the rules of the plan that that insurance company sets up. So there are co-pays, there could be deductibles, there are out-of-pocket expenses for almost everything that the person uses while they're enrolled in that plan.
Okay.
And they just need to know that this is what could possibly be my cost. If I'm planning on having 1 or 2 knees replaced next year, what is that going to cost me in my Medicare Advantage plan? And Medicare Advantage plans have networks. So person has to live within the network of the plan, choose their providers based on the network, whereas with a Medicare supplement, no one has that particular restriction. You
So
can go to any
it's like
doctor.
what we used to talk about years ago, that you in what I'm understanding is in the one plan you have kind of what's called the gatekeeper. They decide what hospital you can go to. If they refer you to a specialist, you're limited as to whom you can go and see. So just like the regular plans in regular insurance, they might be in some ways a little bit more expensive, but in other ways, if you really need big things done, you could have some major money out of pocket.
You could. It all depends on the rules of the plan. So, you know, I tell people you need to talk to that particular company that runs those plans.
And understand what you're choosing
right.
before you just say, oh, this is less expensive,
Exactly.
I'm going to take this one.
Exactly.
Understand what it means. You know, it's like I tell everybody on the financial side of the house, everything you do has a trade-off.
Exactly.
You know, you go over and you put the money in the bank, you know, it's safe, you know, it's FDIC insured. However, the interest rate you get is going to be way down here. You go out in the market and you get very aggressive. You could make a very high rate, but at the same time, you could have a very steep drop.
And you know, one of the ways I distinguish between the two, Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage, is Medicare supplements is plan ahead, because you're paying a monthly premium for the kind of coverage you know you're going to have. The same way we do with our car insurance and our house insurance.
Sure.
But a Medicare Advantage plan, you pay as you go.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong. There's not one way better than the other.
You just have to know what you're
Yes,
getting.
exactly.
You have to understand it and the job that it's meant to do.
Exactly.
And as long as you understand that, you make an educated decision, then that's fine. But I think that leads to the next point that we were going to talk about, is that a lot of people just guess at what specific plan they should use. And you know, my classes I teach at the colleges, I end with a little comic strip, and these two people are pulling on a wishbone, and it says, "Hope is not a plan."
Right,
I mean,
that's right.
and it's the same thing here. it's like you're throwing darts at the dartboard. Well, no, there's better ways to do it.
I know, Annalee, where I see these mistakes made are especially with the drug plans. So because if somebody's got their red, white, and blue card, their Medicare supplement, then they choose a drug plan.
Okay.
And in 2017, here in our county area, we have 20 drug plans to choose from. Not the kind that are
20?
bound together. Yeah, 20 drug plans, okay?
Wow.
And people get so overwhelmed, they don't take advantage of this time of the year to do an evaluation. And just this morning and yesterday, I met with people in our office. They're paying much higher premium than they have to get the kind of coverage they need for their medications. You know, so would somebody rather pay $60 more for the same kind of coverage they can get for a plan that's $60 less, even though it covers their medications?
I think I know which one I take.
I know, same thing. Now, if they want to stay with the high-cost plan, that's great, you know, and there are, it's much more complex than just the premium.
Sure.
But still, so many times it does come down to that, especially when people are on a few medications.
Right.
The other mistake I see people make is they don't enroll in Medicare Part D drug plan when they first go on Medicare. And we talked before about penalties.
Yes.
Just yesterday, I had a woman in my office. She is 70 years old. She has never enrolled in a Medicare Part D plan. So she has 5 years of penalty. That's 60 months at 1% per month. So she's got 60% penalty that will be added to whatever drug plan she chooses. Now, she takes no medications. So I advised her yesterday, sign up for the least expensive plan, premium-wise, at least to know that you've got coverage if you need something during the year.
During the year.
You know?
Well, you know, and I think that's the whole thing where we go into our next point is not applying for help.
Yeah.
People don't know a lot of the things that are available out there that will help our low income or disabled people. I think we have to consider those things also.
I do, Annalee. I agree with you completely. And we do have a lot of people in our area who may qualify for extra help and maybe don't realize it. And they might be able to get help paying their Part B premium. They might get help paying for their Part D drugs, those kinds of things. So there's places where you can get help, and one of the places I recommend is to call SHINE over at the local area agency on aging. And the number for that is 866, and we'll post it on the screen, 866-531-8011. And that's a program run by volunteers who can help you not only navigate what you might need for a Part D or a Medicare Advantage plan, but also if you need extra help, they might be able to give you some assistance with that. So
and
I would
point you in
recommend
the
calling
right
it.
direction
Yes.
and help you fill out paperwork if there's paperwork to fill out.
Correct.
And I think all that's so important that people know that there is help there if you qualify and you need it.
Yeah. The other one is Medicaid and Extra Help, and that's the local Department of Family and Children's Services, and that's at 762-2237. 762-2237. So, you know, if you are struggling with your Medicare costs, call one of those numbers and see whether those people can give you some advice as to where you can receive some assistance.
Sure. So I think the gist of everything is if you're just going on Medicare, make sure you understand what your choices are. Don't just throw the dart at the board or the first one that you get in the mail. Say, oh, this
Right.
must be the best one. Understand your choices, educate yourself as to those choices, and then every year reevaluate your coverage and make sure what you've got is what you need. And the only way you can do that, I think, is to go to someone who is an independent, like we are, that can look at the different choices for you. And I know you run that side of our firm the same way I run my side. If we don't have it and there's something better, we're going to tell you where to go and get that something better.
Absolutely.
You just did this with a lady this week. She was overpaying, you could have kept her in that. You could have kept making some money on that as commissions, but you told her, no, look, this one's out now and it's better for you, so go over here.
Right.
And she did, and we don't even offer that plan.
No, we don't.
The alternative plan. So don't be afraid to come in, call us at the office, 437-3127. I firmly believe that Joan is probably one of the most educated people in the panhandle on Medicare and Medicare supplements and the differences in all of them, because there are fine differences and you have to know the plans and understand that to be able to pick them out and explain them.
And especially because I don't do Medicare Advantage plans.
Yes.
So then knowing where I can send them to get the additional information they need.
Yes. So if you have questions, you need help, call us, 437-3127. Joan will not charge you to come in and talk about your plan, look at it. The same thing on the financial side of the house. If you want a second opinion, you want an evaluation, call us, come in, and we'll do everything that we can to help you, because our whole goal has always been at Mainstay Financial, it's been to educate you, enlighten you, and empower you to make correct decisions. And the only way you're going to do that is to have people tell you the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and then you make a decision according to what fits you.
Correct.
Not what fits me, not what fits the neighbor, but what fits each of us individually. We'll see you next month. It'll be time for the holidays, and we'll have some great information for you then. Take care, and we will see you then.
Mainstay Financial Group offers advocacy and personal financial guidance in a caring environment. That's the heart of our practice. At Mainstay, we're dedicated to exemplary service and a caring relationship with our client, not with a number. Plan for the future now with Mainstay Financial Services.